A 16-year-old just broke a record that stood untouched for nearly 3 decades. Chen Yujie walked into the 100-meter final as an underdog and walked out as history's newest name. One burst of speed, one finish line, and the entire athletics world is talking. On Monday night, November 17, 2025, in Guangzhou, something extraordinary happened on the blue track. The 15th National Games was hosting its marquee event, the women's 100-meter final. And while 34 gold medals were awarded that day, this race stole the spotlight with the loudest cheers of the entire competition. Chen Yuji from Zhejiang province, who won't even turn 17 for another month, lined up in lane 7. When the gun went off, she had what looked like a slow start. But here's where it gets interesting. By the time she hit the 50-meter mark, Chen had caught up with the chasing pack, and then she just exploded. She crossed the finish line in an absolutely blistering 11.10 seconds with a legal wind reading of plus 0.7 meters per second. To put this in perspective, that time didn't just win her the gold medal, it shattered the Asian under-20 record of 11.17 seconds, a record that had stood untouched since 1997. That's 28 years of athletes trying and failing to break it. Chen also claimed the Chinese U20 record and posted the 4th fastest U18 100-meter time in history. The margin of victory, a massive 0.27 seconds ahead of the silver medalist. In sprinting terms, that's an eternity. Wei Yongli from Guangxi took silver in 11.37 seconds, while Shi Zhiyong from Anhui grabbed bronze in 11.38 seconds. Now, some might point out that established stars like Gei Mangqi and Liang Shaojing weren't in the race, which made Chen's path a bit easier. But let's be real, you can only beat who's in front of you, and Chen did that with authority. After the race, the teenage sensation was refreshingly calm about her historic achievement. "I finally executed the technique I've been working on for so long," she said. "I felt very relaxed." That kind of composure from a 16-year-old on the biggest domestic stage in Chinese athletics? That's special. She credited her success to calm nerves and cleaner form, showing a maturity beyond her years. So where does Chen rank among the all-time great young sprinters? Only one U18 female athlete in history has broken the 11-second barrier. American sprinter Candice Hill, who ran 10.98 seconds at age 16, a time that remains her personal best to this day. The only other U18 athletes faster than Chen are Jamaican Olympians Brianna Williams and Tina Clayton, who just became the newly crowned world 100-meter silver medalist. That's an elite company. What makes Chen's achievement even more remarkable is the technical evolution we're seeing in her running. Born in 2008, she represents a generation of Chinese sprinters who've benefited from world-class coaching infrastructure and cutting-edge sports science from the very beginning of their careers. The fact that she produced the 4th fastest U18 time in history while still refining her technique suggests there's significantly more speed to unlock. If she continues developing at this rate and maintains her health, we could be looking at China's first genuine medal contender in the Olympic sprint events since the legendary days of Chinese track and field. The timing couldn't be better. With 3 years until the Los Angeles Olympics, Chen has the perfect runway to mature into a global force. This wasn't Chen's first rodeo on the big stage either. Earlier this year, she made history as the youngest female athlete to compete at the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo, where she ran the 200-meter heats and was part of China's women's 4x100-meter relay squad. And she's not done yet. Chen is chasing the sprint double at the National Games, competing in the women's 200 meters on Wednesday. But Chen wasn't the only sprinting star that night. In the men's 100-meter final, 25-year-old Li Zeyang from Hubei province claimed his first National Games title with a time of 10.11 seconds. Earlier in the heats, Li had posted an even faster 10.08 seconds, becoming the 8th Chinese male athlete to complete the race within 10.10 seconds. Li's post-race comments showed the kind of leadership Chinese sprinting needs right now. "I'm very satisfied with the result," he said. "China's sprinting future belongs to the younger generation, and I'll do my part to carry that flag forward." With talents like Chen Yuji emerging, that future looks incredibly bright. The athletics action didn't stop there. Gong Debin from Fujian won the men's 400-meter hurdles in a national record time of 48.68 seconds, while Olympian Mo Jiadi took the women's race in 55.19. In the javelin, Su Lingdan from Jiangsu secured gold with an impressive 62.42-meter throw on her very first attempt. What makes China's national games so significant? This premier multisport event, held every 4 years, is essentially the country's domestic version of the Olympics. The 15th edition features approximately 14,000 athletes competing across 34 sports and 419 events, showcasing the absolute best talent China has to offer. It's where futures are made and legends are born, and on this Monday in Guangzhou, Chen Yujie proved she's ready to be both.
With a 4 flat, and she's got the edge, but Paulino's coming back. She's not beaten yet. This is so close. McLaughlin Levrone for history. She's driving for the line, and she's done it. 47.80.
The Olympics are supposed to be the biggest stage for track and field athletes, where legends are made and records are shattered. But right now, some really bad decisions are putting that all at risk for the 2028 Los Angeles Games. Every 4 years, we get to watch the best athletes in the world compete at the Olympics. We see incredible races, amazing performances, and sometimes world records that leave us speechless. The Paris Olympics gave us so many unforgettable moments, including Cole Hawker's epic 1500-meter gold medal. That race was absolutely incredible. Now, you would think that with such a huge event, the people organizing it would carefully plan everything out. They should make sure the schedule works well for the athletes, right? Well, that's not what's happening. Recent announcements about the LA 2028 schedule have professional athletes complaining, Olympic champions speaking out, and experts worried about athlete safety. Let's start with some history. Los Angeles hosted the Olympics back in 1984, and it was amazing. More Olympic records were broken there than at any other games. Carl Lewis broke the record in the 200 meters. Valerie Briscoe Hooks broke records in both the 200 and 400. Sebastian Coe broke the record in the 1500. In total, 20 Olympic records fell in LA. It was a historic event for speed and performance. So with that incredible history, you'd expect the 2028 organizers to want the same thing, to help athletes perform at their absolute best. Unfortunately, that's not what the current schedule is doing. The first major problem involves Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, one of the biggest names in track and field. For the past 2 Olympic cycles, she has completely dominated the 400-meter hurdles. She broke the world record in Tokyo, then broke it again in Paris. She hasn't lost a 400 hurdles race since 2019. When someone finally did beat her back then, it took a world record to do it. She's that good. But McLaughlin-Levrone isn't just amazing at the hurdles. She also ran 47.78 seconds in the flat 400 meters at this year's World Championships, winning gold. That's the second fastest time in history. Some people even call it the actual world record because of questions about times from the 1980s. For months now, Sydney and her coach Bob Kersey have talked about winning both the 400 and the 400 hurdles at the LA Games. This would be historic. No athlete in history has ever won both events at the same Olympics. It's incredibly hard to do, but if anyone can, it's McLaughlin-Levrone. Here's the problem. The current LA 2028 schedule makes this double nearly impossible. On Tuesday, July 18th, she would have to race in both events. Then on Thursday, July 20th, things get really bad. She would need to run the 400 hurdles semifinals and then just 1 hour later, run the 400-meter final. 1 hour. That's barely enough time to cool down, let alone recover and prepare for an Olympic final. Athletes need to be at 100% to compete at that level, not worried about getting injured. This Thursday session is especially dangerous. And think about what we're missing out on. McLaughlin-Levrone in an Olympic final is basically a guaranteed world record. This would happen on home soil in front of a packed stadium. We might not see an opportunity like this again for decades. Some people say she could still pull it off with this schedule, but honestly, the risk of injury seems way too high compared to the reward of winning both golds. This is a huge mistake that needs to be fixed. But wait, there's an even bigger problem. The women's 100 meters is scheduled to be completed in a single day. That means the fastest women in the world would have to run 3 races, the opening round, the semifinal, and the final, all within about 12 hours. This is a terrible idea. Running 3 rounds in one day increases the injury risk dramatically. Athletes can't fully rest between races. and the chances of seeing a super fast time go way down because everyone's tired. Where did this idea even come from? Athletes are not happy about this. Freddie Crittenden asked, "Who asked for this?" Hunter Woodhall said, "Bold move. Hope that doesn't stick." Champion Allison and Trey Cunningham shared their frustrations on Instagram too, but the best reaction came from Warren Weir, a Jamaican sprinter who won bronze in the 200 meters at the 2012 Olympics and silver at the 2013 World Championships. When he heard about this schedule, he didn't hold back. Warren said,
"And it's absolutely crazy to think that a group of people sit down and decide that, yo, how are we going to make track and field worse for the athletes?" They sit down and them say, "You know what? Let's start with the females. Let's make them run all rounds one day."
He then talked about an article he saw. The article quoted Janet Evans, the LA28 chief athlete officer, saying,
"We spoke at length with my athlete commission and it was a largely qualitative conversation," said the LA28 chief athlete officer.
He asked,
"I also want to ask Janet, who was in that meeting? Like, what do you mean by it was a positive, largely positive conversations? I'm quite sure half of them people are not thinking about the athletes' well-being for them to run all 3 rounds one day."
Then Warren got sarcastic and suggested an even crazier idea. He said,
"Since we are dealing with chaos, here what we can do. I have a better idea. How about we just run? Like, we already picked back to back. How about we make it one better and just make them walk back? Just like training. Yeah, walk back. As soon as you finish, and the next heat go, and the next heat go, and by the time all the heats them finish for round 1, semi-finals go same time. And after semi-final done, you walk back to the start and we'll make the finals just run same time. What about that? That would be much better." Yeah. Let's do that. Because since we have picked madness, let's just do that. So my suggestion is walk back. So all 3 rounds one day, and just walk back to start line. So that way you don't have to warm up back. That way you don't have to cool down. You know, you're already ready to go. Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's my suggestion. Because y'all crazy.
Obviously, Warren was being sarcastic. But here's the thing. He's an Olympic medalist. He knows what he's talking about. And he's not alone in thinking this is a bad idea. Now here's where it gets really strange. The official World Athletics website tells a completely different story. According to them, this is Olympic innovation at its best, and they created this schedule by collaborating with World Athletics and listening directly to their athlete community. Shauna Ferguson, the LA28 chief of sport, said, "We are thrilled to showcase the fastest women in the world on day 1, allowing them to inspire a global audience at the start of the most comprehensive Olympic sporting program in history." But that doesn't match what the athletes are saying at all. To run your fastest in a final, you need rest. You need time away from the track to recover properly. Based on all the feedback from actual athletes, nobody seems to want this. People are worried about injuries. They don't think fast times are possible when you race 3 times in 12 hours. So which is it? Did they really talk to athletes and get positive feedback, or is someone not telling the truth? Either there was a huge communication problem, or someone is lying about what the athletes actually want. Something doesn't add up here. The official schedule shows the women's 100 meters will kick off the entire LA 2028 Olympics on July 15th. All 3 rounds, including the final, happen that same day. The men's 100-meter final comes on day 2. World Athletics President Sebastian Coe said the schedule will start with a bang as our women's sprinters take center stage on day 1. This schedule is deeply problematic. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone's chance at history is being crushed by poor planning. The women's 100-meter sprinters are being asked to do something that puts their health at risk and hurts their performance. And the officials keep saying athletes want this when the athletes themselves are saying the opposite.
They're still side by side with 50. Lyles trying to find something. He stretches away. It is a global title again.
Noah Lyles just stunned the track world with a massive announcement. The reigning king of the 200 meters didn't break a record. He revealed something far bigger, something no one saw coming. And now the entire sport is scrambling for answers. But to see why this announcement matters, we have to look back at the final stretch of 2025, a season that reshaped everything around him.
But the golden career of Noah Lyles over his favourite event just keeps on going and going.
It's number 4, baby. By the grace of God.
Lyles entered the 2025 season with the kind of expectations only a once-in-a-generation athlete carries. The spotlight wasn't just on him, it was glued to him. Everyone wanted to know if he could continue the momentum he built from 2023 and 2024, when he took global titles, Olympic glory, and a series of world championship triumphs. And yet, something shifted this year. Something deeper, because 2025 was the year Noah Lyles didn't just run fast, he ran with purpose, with maturity, and with something to prove not just to the world, but to himself.
The two champions over 200 metres, but Lyles is never to be denied his shining moment. He has the last word.
By the time the World Championships in Tokyo ended, he had collected more medals than any male athlete across the entire competition. 2 of them were gold, one in the 200 meters, securing his 4th straight world title in the event, and another anchoring the US 4x100 relay team to a statement victory. Add in a bronze medal in the 100 meters and a flawless, undefeated season in the 200, plus winning his 6th Diamond League title in the event, and the numbers alone made it clear. He was having a season worthy of legends. His accomplishments put him in rare company. Only one man before him had ever strung together 4 consecutive world titles in the 200, Usain Bolt. That single achievement immediately elevated Lyles into the global sprinting stratosphere, no longer chasing shadows, but joining them. And yet, when the announcement came that Noah Lyles had officially been named a finalist for the 2025 Male Track Athlete of the Year, his reaction wasn't confidence. It was shock, not the showman version we see on TV, not the media-savvy entertainer who thrives under pressure. Instead, he was genuinely stunned. He couldn't believe he deserved it. Yes, the competitor who openly claims he wants to be the greatest sprinter in American history had a moment where he forgot just how much he'd accomplished. And that's where Junelle Bromfield stepped in. Lyles revealed in interviews that she was the one who sat him down and reminded him of everything he had done that season, everything he had fought through, everything he had earned. The medals, the wins, the streaks, the history-making performances, all of it. In his own words, he had been so locked in throughout the year that he never paused long enough to appreciate it. He was chasing peak form at the World Championships, focused on sharpening every detail, locked into every session, every race plan, every recovery, every tactical move. It was only when Bromfield laid out the facts, the records, the consistency, the dominance, that Lyles finally understood the truth. He wasn't just a finalist, he could actually win the award. And that leads us to the huge announcement. Noah Lyles publicly declared that he believes wholeheartedly that he can win the 2025 Male Track Athlete of the Year. This was not typical confidence. This wasn't another chest-out bold proclamation. This wasn't Noah trying to stir hype before a big race. This was different. It was a moment of clarity. For the first time since the news broke, he looked back at the season not through the lens of pressure or expectation, but accomplishment. And when he did, he finally saw what everyone else had been seeing all along. He stepped forward and announced to the world, "I can win this thing." Those 5 words transformed the narrative. Suddenly, it wasn't just fans praising his season. It wasn't just analysts recognizing the numbers. It was Lyles giving himself permission to step into the level of greatness he's earned. The voting system for Athlete of the Year is intense. 75% of the votes come from the World Athletics Council and the official World Athletics family. The remaining 25% comes from fans on social media. To be one of the final 2 athletes selected from thousands across the world speaks volumes. And who was the other finalist? Kenya's Emmanuel Wanyonyi, a powerhouse in the 800 meters who had his own iconic season. But Noah Lyles stood shoulder to shoulder with him, not because of one moment or one medal, but because of the totality of what he built throughout 2025. People forget, this was the season he bounced back from health challenges the year before, the season he silenced critics who doubted whether he could maintain peak sprinting form, the season he matched a slice of Usain Bolt's history, the season he dominated one of the deepest, most competitive eras in the 200 meters. And while the global spotlight focused on medal counts and sprint rivalries, the world also watched Lyles grow